I almost didn't press record. I've been sitting in this chair for about 40 minutes. I made tea, I drank some of it, I opened my laptop, I closed it, I did my hair and then took it back down. I told myself I wasn't ready. And then I thought, if I wait until I'm ready, I'll be waiting forever. So here I am, not ready, pressing record anyway. My name is Nini B. Banks. I am 28 years old, and a few weeks ago, my entire life changed, and not in a way I saw coming, and not in a way I would have chosen. I'm not going to tell you everything today. I want to. Part of me wants to just say all of it, get it out, let it exist somewhere outside of my own head. But I also know that some stories need to be told slowly, with care, because the details matter, and I'm still making sense of some of them myself. What I will tell you is this. I steady myself, direct eye contact with the camera. I was engaged. His name is Spencer, and I found out, not from him, not in a conversation, not in any way that gave me time to prepare, I found out that the life I thought we were building together was not the only life he was living. He had someone else. Not once, not a mistake, someone else. And I know that there are people watching this who know exactly what I mean when I say it isn't just the betrayal that breaks you, it's the recalculation. It's going back through every memory you thought you understood and realizing you were reading a story someone else had already edited without telling you. Jane is my best friend. She has a pull-out sofa that is genuinely not comfortable, and she never once mentioned that. She just made it up with the good sheets and left snacks on the coffee table and didn't ask me a single question I wasn't ready to answer. I don't know how to explain what it means to have someone just hold space for you like that, without agenda, without needing you to be further along than you are. Jane did that. She just sat with me in it. Rory came over on day 3. Rory is my other best friend, and she is a completely different energy. She walked in, looked at me, looked at Jane, looked back at me and said, "Okay, we need to talk about the money." And I wanted to be annoyed. I really did, because I was still in the part of grief where you just want someone to tell you it's going to be okay. You're not ready for logistics yet. But Rory was right. She's usually right, which is both her best and most exhausting quality. Because here's the thing about Spencer that I haven't said yet, and that I'm going to have to say at some point, so I may as well start here. I was partly depending on him, financially. Not entirely. I have my own income, my own work, my own account, but the life we shared, the apartment, the dinners, the trips, the ease of it, that was largely built on his money. And Spencer was generous, genuinely, freely generous. That was real. I don't think money was ever a manipulation. It was just how he moved through the world, big and abundant, and like nothing was ever a problem. Until everything was a problem. And then I was 28 years old, sitting on Jane's pull-out sofa, realizing that I had built a portion of my daily life on a foundation that no longer existed. The ring was gone, the wedding was gone, the future I had spent 3 years imagining, in detail, down to the smallest things, gone. And the safety net I hadn't fully admitted to myself that I was using, gone too. Rory sat across from me with a notepad and said, "Let's just look at what we're actually working with." So we did. We looked, and it was a lot to look at, but I'm glad she made me do it, because the worst thing you can do with a hard truth is keep it in the dark where it can grow into something bigger than it actually is. I moved out 3 weeks ago. This is my place now. It's not much yet. I'm going to be honest with you about that, because I think there's a version of this kind of channel where everything looks perfectly curated from day one, and I don't want to do that. I don't think it serves either of us. There's a box in the corner I still haven't unpacked. That wall behind me is completely bare. My kitchen has exactly 4 things in it that I actually chose. Everything else is temporary or borrowed or whatever was practical. But it's mine. That's the thing I keep coming back to when the smallness of it feels like too much. It is entirely, completely, only mine. No one else's name is on this space. No one else's choices are on these walls. No one else's life is running parallel to mine inside these rooms without my knowledge. That last one matters more than I expected it to. There is something, I don't have a better word for it, than clean about being in a space that is only yours, even when it's sparse, even when it echoes a little, even when you wake up at 3 a.m. and the quiet feels too loud and you miss the warmth of someone next to you, even if that someone turned out to be a person you didn't fully know. The quiet is honest. I'm learning to appreciate that. And I've landed somewhere with that question that I want to share because I think a lot of people who have been through something like this ask themselves the same thing. And I think the answer we usually land on, I should have seen it, I should have known, I was foolish, I think that answer is wrong, or at least it's incomplete. I didn't know because he worked very hard to make sure I didn't know. That's not my failure, that's his choice. But there were moments, small ones, a hesitation, a vagueness about certain evenings, a feeling I had sometimes when I woke up in the night, not an accusation, just a whisper that something wasn't fully adding up, and I smoothed it over. I found the generous interpretation. I chose to trust. I'm not going to punish myself for choosing to trust the person I was going to marry. That's what love is supposed to look like. The problem was never my trust. What I am working on, what I am actively in the process of working on, is learning to hear that whisper again, the one I smoothed over. Because it's still in me, I haven't lost it, I just learned to ignore it, and unlearning that is part of the work. So why this? Why a camera in my living room? Why the internet? Why any of this? I've thought about that a lot, and I want to give you the real answer, not just the easy one. The easy answer is I needed somewhere to put it. The grief, the anger, the confusion, the strange dark humor of it all, I needed somewhere to put all of that so it didn't just circulate inside me forever. And that's true, but the real answer is bigger than that. I looked for something to watch when it happened. I genuinely went looking for a voice that sounded like mine, going through something that felt like this, who wasn't either performing devastation or performing recovery. I wanted someone in the middle of it, honest about the middle of it, not rushing to the lesson. I couldn't find exactly that, so I decided to be it. And I know that maybe it sounds more confident than I feel, because most days I do not feel like someone who has anything figured out. Most days I am just a woman in a half-empty apartment, drinking tea and trying to remember who she was before she started organizing her life around someone else's. But I also know this. The version of me that existed before Spencer, she was someone. She had things she wanted. She had a sense of herself that was hers and not borrowed from a relationship. She had ambition that she set aside slowly, quietly, without fully realizing she was doing it. I want her back. I'm going to find her. And I thought, maybe somebody else needs to watch that happen. Maybe somebody else is on their own pull-out sofa right now, or in their own too-quiet apartment, or somewhere in the middle of a grief that doesn't have a clean shape. And maybe it would help to know that someone else is in it with them, not ahead of them, not already through it, just in it at the same time. Here's what this channel is going to be. It's going to be honest about the hard days and the okay days and the days where I'm genuinely proud of myself. I'm not going to curate this into a highlight reel. You're going to see the apartment when it's still half empty. You're going to hear about the financial rebuilding in real time, the decisions I'm making, the things I'm learning about money that I probably should have learned earlier, the process of building a life on my own income for the first time in a long time. You're going to hear about healing, not the version of healing that looks like a glow-up montage, the actual version, the one that looks like a Thursday where you're fine and then you're not fine, and then somehow you make yourself dinner and you're fine again. You're also going to hear about what I'm building, because I have not given up the idea of a beautiful life. I have not decided that softness and elegance and intention are things that have to be given to you by someone else. I am choosing to believe on the days when it's hard to believe, that those things can be built by yourself, for yourself, on your own terms. That's the channel. That's the promise. It's called Her Soft Empire, because that's what I'm building.
Not a performance of healing, not a revenge arc, not a before and after, an empire. Soft, intentional, entirely mine, built from the ground up, right here, in this room with the bare walls and the unpacked corner and the tea I made and didn't finish. This is the beginning. She takes a breath, something lighter in her now, not healed, not resolved, but lighter, like saying it out loud took some of the weight off. If you're watching this and something in it landed, I'd really love to hear from you. Leave a comment. Tell me where you are. Tell me what brought you here. I'm going to read every single one, especially in the beginning. And come back on Wednesday. I'm going to show you this apartment properly, every bare wall and half unpacked corner, because I've decided I'm not going to wait until it looks right to show it to you. I'm going to show you the making of it. That feels more honest. That feels more like what this whole thing is actually about. I'm Nini B. Banks, and this is Chapter 1.